Okay, welcome back to Signal Over Noise. 8 steps on how to argue anything with anyone and win. So, the Christmas period is upon us again, and it feels like the temperature of the conversation, almost any conversation, is only going one way, up. Important people seem frighteningly short on important information, leading to potentially harmful ideas and behaviors. Good people are believing and doing bad things, often in the service of what they think is good intentions. Grandma grows more racist by the day. And so the list goes on. If it feels that it's becoming harder and harder to have important conversations with people you care about but disagree with, then this is the episode for you. It's my step-by-step guide for conversing across and behind enemy lines and emerging unscathed. And Sam will be weighing in with his insights as well as we go. It goes something like this. Step 1. Pick your battlefield wisely. We humans, we evolved practically hairless apes that have grown fond of takeaways, air conditioning, and Scrubs Rewatch podcasts have brains that are designed to detect physical threats. If you wish to converse about matters of importance and to be heard, you must ensure your conversational companion does not feel threatened. A good choice of venue is one that can be easily exited by either party at any time, and that does not cause you to square up to one another in close proximity and moderates the amount of eye contact and teeth-baring possible. The best place to undertake difficult conversations, in my opinion, is literally a walk in the park. Nature is soothing, unless you live in Australia. Walking puts you alongside rather than face-to-face with your conversational sparring partner. And either party can simply change direction and go their own way. Step 2. Agree on something. It's a well-worn stereotype that British people start every other conversation with a remark on the weather. Kiwis, particularly urban ones, do the same thing with traffic. Why? Well, it's generally agreed that the weather in the UK is naff. It's also generally agreed that New Zealand cities have pretty terrible traffic, given their relatively small populations. Starting a conversation with an early agreement builds rapport, and it proves that agreement is possible between the parties involved. This forces a reconceptualization from, quote, opponent to, quote, person with some opposing and some shared views, end quote. How? Make a remark your conversational partner is almost bound to agree with. Step 3. Invite permission. I am a monster when I'm hangry. I'm stubborn as a mule when I'm tired, and I'm shockingly incapable of listening to anyone's opinion but my own when I'm feeling full of myself. These are all bad times to attempt to convince me of anything because I'm unlikely to be really, truly listening. But ask and you shall receive. If you ask if now is an okay time to broach a difficult subject, and I say yes, well, because I've said yes, then I'm all in. No argument stands any chance of success if the answer's no, but I will give you another time and a place. Step 4. Understand their point of view. One can understand something without endorsing it. Historians strive to understand the motivations and actions of Stalin, Mussolini, and Hitler without ever endorsing any of these dictators. You too should strive to understand someone else's opinions, beliefs, or behaviors without feeling that to do so is in any way an endorsement or a sign that you share them. If you do not know why they hold their beliefs dear or what purpose they serve, then you stand essentially no chance of changing them and convincing them that they're wrong or that you're right. How? Easy. Walk a mile in their shoes by letting them show you how. Step 5. Move away from adversarial or militaristic language. And I know the irony of, well, this entire episode and what it's titled, but conversations are nothing more than exchanges of language that may represent beliefs, values, ideas, or factual information. Pitching it in adversarial terms conjures the image of conflict in the mind of your conversational partner. And as conversations exist in the realm of shared subjective reality, if you tell your person that you're sharing this particular conversation with that it is a battle or a war, then it will be interpreted as such. And although objectively it is not actually a battle or a war, if both the participants of the conversation view it as such, then it becomes one, essentially. Instead, frame your conversation as an exercise in walking alongside one another, attempting to learn something new, perhaps about them or perhaps about the world, rather than confronting one another, attempting to convince each other of something better or more right than before. How? Play a positive-sum game, i.e., imagine a world in which it's possible for both participants to win from an exchange. For example, if both people feel respected and heard, then they'll both leave with a sense of that conversation being time well spent, whether or not they were right. Step 6. Redefine winning. Many smart people believe it's their duty, obligation, or quest to convince others of something they believe to be true. They would believe that winning an argument must necessarily involve the opponent coming round to agree with them or surrendering their previously held opinion. Consider this: how readily and quickly are you able to change your own beliefs? Could a single persuasive conversation convince an atheist of the presence of God, or a holy man of there being none? Not unless the content of the conversation contains irrefutable proof of the existence or non-existence of a monotheistic deity watching over us all. And let's face it, that sort of concrete, earth-shattering evidence is hard to find and unlikely to be hidden up the sleeves of anyone around your Christmas dinner table. So, given that a single conversation has rarely ever convinced anyone of anything too profound, it's logically absurd to heap such lofty expectations on yourself of achieving exactly this. Your goal should not be to change someone else's beliefs, but to soften the edges of their firm, fixed ideas, and perhaps also to soften your own. The penny will drop when the penny drops. You cannot change their beliefs for them. Indeed, it would be overbearing and irksome to try. All you can do is present disconfirming evidence in a considerate and kind way, such that they may go on to change their own belief in time when they're ready. How? Remind yourself that your own beliefs were not constructed in a single conversation, and that they probably cannot be deconstructed that fast either, particularly without truly earth-shattering information. And if you have a strong motivation, even that may not be enough. For each of us, as I've said before, the penny drops when the penny drops, and it's not for others to force it downwards. Their role is, at most, to remind us of the presence of gravity and its effect on the penny. Step 7. See many beliefs as key-shaped objects. Smart people are often impressively dumb. But why is this? Well, often they're incentivized to be so. One big incentive is group membership, something our tribal minds crave, and is often predicated on holding certain beliefs. You want to be accepted at the village church? You better believe at least some of the Bible. The knowledge that we hold some beliefs more sacred than others, not based on their factual accuracy or legitimacy, but on the purpose they serve us, is important to keep you measured and controlled when a conversational partner who, often seeming logical and rational, fails to see sense. It's not an intelligence deficit, it's a threat evasion tactic. If the new belief threatens membership of a group that is important to them, then they may well deploy a significant chunk of their perhaps substantial intelligence to disconfirming or disbelieving your belief or assertion. And finally, step 8, wrap it up if the temperature is getting uncomfortably hot. This is an important one. As Nobel Prize-winning psychologist Daniel Kahneman described in Thinking Fast and Slow, we have both emotional and rational logical circuitry in the brain. The emotional circuitry is fast, reactive, and, as implied, emotion-driven. This is thinking fast. It evolved to evade threats back when the world was very, very threatening. And because it was designed to react to urgent threats, it overrides the calmer, more calculated, logical process of understanding through reasoning. When someone tips from thinking slow and reasonably into thinking fast and emotion-driven thought, it is, from that point onwards, usually impossible for the person that they deem put them there to flip them back out, Why? Because their emotional circuitry has labeled you as the threat, and anything you produce, therefore, comes across as threatening, often including well-intentioned attempts to get them out of their emotional thinking. How? Back off, slow your cadence, change the subject, thank them for their participation in the conversation, and leave. Okay, so that's it. 8 steps to converse with anyone about anything. Not quite the same as originally promised in the episode title, but one will never make any progress with people sufficiently differing in beliefs and opinions if they keep pitching everything as a battle against opponents. Samuel, what do you make of that so far? What have you got to add?
Yeah, so my thoughts and reflections are actually taken from Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. If you haven't already, go ahead and check out those episodes. He basically, one of the 9th law argues that demonstrating something through actions is more persuasive than anything you can say. So as to your final point there, Owen, about people reacting through emotion rather than rationality, I think this leads in really nicely into leading with actions, or trying to win an argument through actions. So actions are concrete, they're hard to dispute, and don't trigger the same defensive reactions that verbal arguments do. Sometimes even the most considered conversation will fail. But when you can quietly live in a way that makes your position undeniably correct over time, then the results will do the talking. And eventually people will come to their own conclusions without feeling as if they lost an argument with you. I.e., if you have a strongly held position and your adversary, I shouldn't use that word. I feel like that's it's also not the right word, but it is also the wrong kind of language to be using. We're not using militaristic language. But your opponent, even if they do not come around to your way of thinking at the moment in time, when you have the conversation, as your step 6, redefining winning, underlined, then when they see the results that you have from you holding your position, the penny will drop. It won't drop during a conversation, but over time, through your actions, you'll be able to prove your position was correct. Just want to just quickly recap as well. 8 steps were, step 1, pick your battles, build wisely. Step 2, agree on something. Step 3, invite permission. Step 5, understand their point of view. That was step 4. Step 5, move away from adversarial or militaristic language. Step 6, redefine winning. Step 7, see many beliefs as key-shaped objects. And step 8, wrap it up if the temperature is getting uncomfortably hot. Yes, that's the conversation with your racist grandma, not ours. Okay, that's that.
Yep. So that's all for today. That's a wrap. Thank you so much for listening. If you are getting value out of this, please drop us a 5-star review. And until next time, be well and do good.
Take it easy.